Well, what's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to the video. So we're gonna talk a little bit about astrocartography and my thoughts on that. Obviously, if you guys know me, you guys know I travel a lot. You guys know I've lived in lots of places. So how do I feel about it? Roll the intro. All right, guys, welcome. So I wanted to have a little ramble about astrocartography and just overall how I feel as someone who has lived in many places in my life as a Sag Moon who's traveled to, I don't even know, I think probably 70 something countries. I'm not counting, but I would guess it's around that much at this point. How do I feel about it? Well, I would first say that there's a lot more than just astrocartography when and astrocartography is not as easy as you think it is, right? I started seeing more and more, especially with my recent experience in Argentina, that yes, the line, the Saturn IC line, which I live on, which is not a good line in most people's eyes, and I'm not gonna argue for it being a good line, but I think that there's almost a hedonistic energy sometimes present in astrocartography, where it's like we have to go, and I get it. Like you want to live next to a Venus line, you want to live next to a Jupiter line, right? Like I do too. Shit, it feels way better, and it. So I'm not saying people who follow astrocartography are hedonists. Okay, let's get out. I just wanted to put that out there that sometimes lines that don't seem as fun or energies that don't seem as fun are actually what we need. Example. I moved to a Saturn line from my moon ascendant, right, to Saturn IC. How has my life changed? Like, yes, I'm not there right now because I literally moved somewhere where there's so many restrictions for me. Like there's someone, my neighbor above me is doing the craziest loud construction. I'm exiled. I've exiled myself to Colombia. Also, the weather's nicer here and it's winter there. But anyways, the point is that you have to look at your chart. You have to look at your chart and understand how a planet in your chart, like, so let's say like for my Saturn line, this is actually a really good example that really taught me a lot about astrocartography, just this one example for myself. I've seen it for other people as well, right? I'm at a point in my life, or coming to Argentina is a point in my life, coming through a breakup, or actually I broke up after I arrived. I was going to bed so late, it was horrible. Like, I guess like I did get a lot of my work done at night, but it's still, now I can see it, that I wake up earlier now, and that's a very Saturnian thing, discipline, blah, 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 right? But I see how that whole experience of being with Saturn, which is like that discipline teacher that's gonna push your life into order, but if you follow the rules, it will get you to that next point, right? I needed that. I needed, like, so basically you see it's a plan of karma too, right? How the construction started every day at 9, or Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. It's extremely loud. So I had no choice for about a month before I actually like left to wake up early, to wake up. Like I was like, okay, well I really like I can't do it. Like it's either I don't, like I could not sleep through this. It was like, like that's the strength of Saturn. Like my earplugs that are like world class wouldn't work. These headphones, or other headphones that are soundproof, no, that hammer and drill is going right through it and just right through your whole body. So, yeah, like it kind of, you can look at it externally as a bad thing, the Saturn, but then now I'm waking up earlier, right? I feel better. My hormones, I feel like my testosterone hormones like that are better. I think long term, it's just even it's not that I can't stay up late too, right? I can still do both, just not all the time and just more reasonably, right? So that's like an example of how how Saturn could, how that difficult line could have started as something difficult, but now I've aligned myself with that energy, what that energy wanted. So I can think of different people I know who who were trying to do a lot of inner work clients I've had, and they lived on their Pluto. Well, it's mainly one actually. I don't know why I said more than one. She lived on her Pluto IC line. I told her, I was like, you know, that line's really difficult, right? And she knew. So I think that there's sort of a synchronicity to where you're supposed to be. And then on top of that, another thing I see about astrocartography, which isn't really astrocartography, and you know, there's also Paran lines, parallel lines. There's more to it, right? You can pull a relocation chart on that spot and see where, like, kind of compare your natal chart. Like, nothing changes in your natal chart. It's just almost it's almost like showing you what your life would have been like if you were born there. So it obviously doesn't become doesn't take over your natal, but it can kind of give you an idea of like you know, where does the ascendant shift to, kind of. But I think really, like, understanding the chart of that place, right? So for example, I live in Argentina. It's a Cancer sun, right? Like I'm not gonna get into the whole chart of Argentina, but there's a lot more of an alignment when you actually look at Argentina's chart with my chart, or just with me, you know? And on top of that, you know, what about the city you live in, right? I live in Buenos Aires. Look at the chart of that, right? But at the end of the day, and this is what I'll say about everything, is there's a need for a vibe check. I was never in this, like, I could not preach this enough. Like, I was not gonna even go to Buenos Aires. Like, I was afraid of Argentina and Brazil. I still haven't gone to Brazil because that one actually scares me, because I'm born during the day, so that makes Saturn, and I have a very strong, well-aspected Saturn in Capricorn, right? So my Saturn is actually really good in my natal chart. My Mars isn't bad, right? But like, Mars in a day chart is the difficult malefic, and in a night chart, Saturn is. So I have Mars IC right over Sao Paulo, and I'm just like, oof. But I'll probably go eventually, but hopefully I survive. And yeah, so I definitely am gonna go, because I wasn't gonna go to Argentina, and I love it. I mean, love, hate, right? It's definitely kind of, there's something that keeps you there, right? But that's sort of what it is, right, guys? Is that you'll get what you need when you need it. And like, if I actually look at Argentina as a place, and I see kind of how my interests align with the interests, what Buenos Aires offers, and the fact that I have friends there, you know, it's these types of factors, I think. And what I'm trying to say is that, let's say you're choosing between two places to live, and one place has bad astrocartography, but you have all those elements I just mentioned. Like, you'll see, like the concerts are amazing. Like, there's great like for me, great football teams, football culture, attractive ladies, just little things, right? That kind of add up. Beautiful architecture, great food, whatever. And then, yeah, of course, having friends there is huge. And a language that you can learn, that you can speak, or that you can learn fast, things like that. Versus a place that, you know, has the best astrocartography, but you don't know anyone. The language is like impossible to learn. It doesn't really have much of what you would want. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, yeah, one could say that you're gonna manifest the best out of that place when you're there. But I think it's really like everything. Like, it's a balance of both. Yeah, it's a balance of both of those, because if you're too much on the side of, like, it's like logic and intuition, right? If you're too much on one side, you're ignoring the other. You kind of have to bring them both together, right? Okay, this place has great astrocartography, but what else does it offer me, right? Does like, how am I doing in this area of life, right? Based on my chart. If I have this moon sign that's very social, you know, how is the fact that it's going to be difficult to socialize? You know, it's just little things like that. So what else do I have to say about astrocartography? I still think it's very interesting to know about. I mean, I recommend everyone get an astrocartography reading done, and just understand where your hot spots and cold spots are, as I like to call them. But also, especially, like, one thing to note too is that it's only showing lines on angles in your natal chart, right? And then there's a whole process called astro mapping. So it's like this map based on your natal chart, right? That's unique to everyone. So, it's like the planetary theme, so basically where you're born, nothing's changing. If you're living where you're born, if you're living close to where you're born or where you're born, it's going to be the same. There's no astrocartography themes. I mean, it does. It's obviously like, so for me, I'm born. I have Pluto. I see natally. That's my one angular planet. And so yeah, I was born in San Francisco and I grew up in Portland, which are the same. So because of that, whenever I moved away from that line, my life changed in the better, right? But I got so used to it. So a lot of people who are born with, and living on difficult lines like that, it's like I'll read their chart, be like, yeah, it might be good for you to move away if you live where you were born or close to it. It could be really good for you to move away, or just check that out at least. But with that said, sometimes people are meant to, they're meant to be in contact with those energies. It's just like aspects I was saying in another video and whatnot. So, all right, that's my take. I'm sure there's more I could say, but I'll leave it at that, and I'll talk to y'all later. Ciao.